How you doing?
It's early, I know. It's early for a lot of energy. It's early for my type of energy. Wow, where do I begin? I don't want to start at the obvious place. Maybe I'll ask how this all happened at the very end of the conversation. But let's just start with the most recent, which is when albums come out, when records come out, we get to our first impression, we run with it, we set it alight, we share it, we yell about it. It's loud, right? For fans, it's a loud experience. How was it for you and Aminé when this record finally dropped and you knew it was around and you checked your phone and it's available?
Honestly, amazing, man. Just because we just been working on it for a minute, and it just felt like with his schedule and my schedule, it's really tough putting collab albums together just because, we just have our separate careers and our separate lives, and we have separate teams. So
it takes commitment.
It takes commitment, and it takes people just like wanting to work with each other. You know what I mean? A lot of collab albums never really come out just because of just different types of ways they work.
Well, because enthusiasm is infectious, but execution is challenging.
Yeah, man.
Right?
I never knew how challenging this was until we, did it, and it's so worth it. So seeing it release was just such a breath of fresh air for me. It just felt really good.
Those first sessions when you get together and you've got something special and you've got something to build upon, were you able to maintain that enthusiasm all the way through, or were there times it was work? It was like, to finish this requires, this is more than just enthusiasm.
I think anytime me and Kay get in the studio, it's always so much fun.
Yeah.
I feel like we're like little kids just,
it was never
around.
Work, it was always like, just us having fun all the time. It was never serious. It was always like, an art expression from both of us. So, yeah.
The crazy thing for me is when I hear this record, Kay, I hear you, but I hear you being very loyal and respectful to who you're working with in this moment, like you are with everybody. It's kind of incredible how you've been able to adapt such a recognizable sound into an environment that feels like true collaboration. I'm just assuming you make everything from scratch with whoever you're with, sitting there with things in the canon.
Here and there, I would say there's a lot of beats. I wouldn't say a lot, but half of the beats were made in the past, and then a lot were made in the studio. For example, Master P.
Yeah.
Like me and Adam made the beat together pretty much by finding the sample, and then we just went crazy with it, blacked out. It was probably one of the first beats we ever made when we first got together. So
I really love that track as well because tempo-wise, it moves into a space that I know both of you are familiar with, but I wouldn't say that we get it regularly from you. Do you know what I mean?
Nah, yeah. A lot of this was, I was really excited because I think a lot of people, when they expect us to collab together, they expect records like Forever.
Yeah.
All the time.
All the time.
And I think for us, we were just really excited to show our hip hop side. We're like true hip hop fans.
Well, people forget Glow Up, man. They forget that we've been here before. We know what he's capable of. This guy's a problem when it comes to tempo.
He's crazy with the hip hop beats. That's why it was just so exciting for me to hop on these beats that a lot of people don't get to hear from him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was the exciting part for me. I just didn't want to come into it with him just doing exactly what people expect.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I wanted to do something with him that was just so different and very, very fun for us.
Well, I know, I think we've spoken about this before, and I mean, it's the highest form of flattery. You're a kidadilla, right? I mean, there's before and after, and you get into that space where it's like, what can I do with tempo and mood and feeling, but also retain that essence of what hip-hop is? And I've always felt, even when you're moving at 122 and 125 beats per minute, I've always felt like you're a hip-hop producer.
Yeah.
That's just how I feel.
I'm literally a hip-hop producer doing all this electronic stuff. All the electronic stuff you heard from me is really a hip-hop producer, molding into the electronic world. So that's why it's easy for me to go back and do hip-hop, because I'm a student of Dilla, Madlib, all the Knife Wonder, Just Blaze, all those producers really, I still have them in mind even when I make electronic music, so.
Sometimes when you go on social media or whatever, you see Gordon Ramsay making a steak or whatever, and you're like, man, I could make a steak, and then you get the same piece of meat and the same ingredients, try to make a steak like Gordon Ramsay, and it's terrible. Comes out terrible. That's KAYTRANADA, right? You give KAYTRANADA all of those ingredients, you give anybody else all those ingredients, put them in a room for 3 weeks, never going to make it anywhere near as sick as that.
That's amazing. Yeah.
It's a human experience true. You put through these, what some would consider synthetic elements, bro, but it is all human, man. No one else can do it like you, bro.
Man, appreciate that. That's all I gotta say.
I'm just trying to kill him with kindness. He doesn't take compliments very well. This guy.
He does not. No, he does not.
As long as I've known him, man, I just try to ramp them up as well.
I'm doing my best.
Aminé, I prepare them. Like I write a list of what can I say to KAYTRANADA to really make his skin crawl in a positive way?
Nothing, man. It's ice cold.
Ice cold.
Perfect.
Ice cold. Ice cold. Big Sean on that, obviously. It's a lovely moment. Love Sean. Hate the fact that when you talk to people about Sean and the history of who's at the table and who's not, people still try to slide the underrated word in there. I'm like, what's underrated about Big Sean? But people do feel like in many respects, I don't know, you dive in on this. You know what I'm saying?
I'm definitely the person to be like, how come y'all don't love Big Sean as much? It's like the Big Seans, and to a lesser degree, maybe the same degree, it's like your Wale's of the world, these people that kind of morph from the blog area to where we're at today, who've maintained these careers. But, you have like your Drakes and your Kendricks, and to a degree, people look at them, but there's these other cats that are building a legacy, creating great bodies of work that can still tour, still be featured on tracks like that joint right there that I love see get their moments. He got songs with Nipsey, and he's like a Forrest Gump of hip hop, and he's like really one of them guys. So I'm people.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Sean is like somebody who, of course, like I see in that light. He's an artist that I've looked up to.
He will murder you on
years.
your own song.
Yeah, man. I always knew he was gonna kill. He was gonna kill this beat. You know what I mean? So I hit him up for like a year straight, just trying to get him on his verse, and he was hitting me back, and he was like, he's had family.
Yeah,
he's a dad.
He's also deep into lifestyle balance now.
He gave us literally one of the best verses of the year. You know what I mean? I think it was amazing to finally get that verse sent to me. He FaceTimed me, and it was a great moment.
That's a great moment, right?
Yeah, I was really hype about that.
As a rap fan.
As a rap fan, this is a hip hop album, so
yeah,
hitting up Sean and Freddie
Freddie blacked out.
Yeah, man, Freddie blacked out.
Oh,
he was in that session. I wasn't even there for that session. I was just me and Freddie had just been talking, but
it was crazy, man. He literally just was messing around for like probably 20 minutes in the booth, listening to the beat on loop, and man, he just blacked out one take.
One take?
And it's like, and that's how it sounded, honestly.
That's what I love about this whole scene right now. Griselda. And, Freddie Gibbs, the whole vibe, man. It's just, it feels like real masters of the craft. Like when we had Conway in the studio live on the show last week, I really felt like I was talking to a master painter. The way that they put words together and the way that they flow on their stuff, it's like, it's incredible. And I mean, I think also hearing Freddie on a track like this, it shows his diversity as well, his ability to lean into different spaces.
Yeah. Freddie's like, I don't know, I think he gets it, even if like in any beat, like he'll understand what to do. So there's a lot of like rappers that don't know how to do that, nowadays. And we just need that more, so.
Listen, you're picking really well. I mean, IDK, Aminé,
listen,
you're choosing your collaborators really thoughtfully and really well.
Like it's really good because I think it's interesting where there's a lot of rappers that just trying to, or even they heard all like my rap beats and they still want to like collab. So I think it's something I always want to showcase more, and I'm really blessed for that I get to work with Aminé, IDK, and all these rappers like Freddie. And it's amazing, so. What
pushed you, man? I mean, we know, the thing that I've known you for a long time. I met you first time around, your first breakout song, and we were at South by Southwest, and I was like, oh, this guy's a superstar. But since then, what blew me away is how the distance you've traveled creatively and how you've shown so many different sides of what you're capable of and what's inspiring you in that moment. So what pushed you on this?
Honestly, just me and Kay have known we've always wanted to do this together. He was like one of the first producers who ever reached out to me before the world even knew who I was in like 2014, 2015.
Can you hold that thought? Can you tell us why? What drew you to his music and made you want to reach out?
So he did he did a freestyle on one of my songs called At All that I put out in 2014.
Yeah.
And man, when I heard his version, he already had a music video too, which was crazy.
And literally just like shot a video with no budget.
Literally all over his copyrights like a rash. I love this. I don't care, bro. This is passion.
I loved the beat. I was just 100%. Like, man, this is crazy.
Yeah, but also it's like Twitter back in the day. You could easily see your mentions, and all that. So it's like, for like, I think it was going viral, like around where he was, and I don't know, it caught my attention, so I just had to give him his props, and then he like asked for beats, and I was like, yeah, man, like I was really in the mode to like discover a lot of, people to work with, you know, new people, new artists. And
What a beautiful thing to watch each other grow individually as this from that moment of like being around at the same time, figuring it all out, and then, as you said, picking up where you left off. That idea of like wanting to do something together for a long time, and now look where you are.
Yeah, I mean, like our careers just kind of went like this, and then we just knew that it had been too many years of not working together, so we just wanted to come together and like just do a whole project and not just do like a single or a random song.
What were the moments during the making of this project where you felt brilliantly uncomfortable, or was it all comfort zone for you?
Nah, there was a lot of times where I wasn't sure if I wanted to hop on this beat or that beat, and Kay was there just like pushing me, you know what I mean? Just like, yo, you should do this. Like, I think you would murder this. I think you would kill it. And then I would go in and give it a chance, and he was right. And I loved it, you know what I mean? So there hasn't, you know, most producers that I work with don't really push me like that. They, you know.
Why is that, do you think?
I think it's just giving the artist all the decision making, you know what I mean? Like some people are just intimidated by a person's personality.
You're an adventurous creative, so I think people probably feel like you'll find the edges yourself.
Yeah, and most of the time I do, but working with somebody as powerful as this man is like us just really partnering together. This is a collab album, you know what I mean? I didn't want like all my ideas to be the decision making, you know. I want half of them to all be his shit too.
It's a true collaboration. We feel it.
Yeah.
It's dangerous when you kind of put collaborations like this out in front of fans like us, because we want you individually, but now we get addicted to this idea of you two together.
Yeah, it's also like just taking your ego out the room, you know what I mean? Like just doing it just to have fun and make the music. I really had to take like any pride I had away with any decision making, whether it was song choices or cover choices or photo shoot choices, you know what I mean?
Really? You weren't feeling that? I think that's sick, man.
No, yeah, that's the one we agree with. I'm saying like, y'all don't really, no one here knows the process that it took to make this album. You know what I mean? It really looks easy and it looks great, but it's a lot of hard work that went into this. There's a lot of people that aren't even here in this room that, you know, helped us make this happen. So, yeah, it was a lot.
We got to talk a little bit about the whole Pharrell scenario, because we haven't talked about that yet. I know what he means to both of you, like same he means to hundreds of millions of us. There is no one else in my mind that's probably more influential as a single individual over the last 20 years of hip-hop, soul, pop, R&B, all of it, in terms of sound, the way he's carried his success from inside the studio, who remains on the edge. It's a tight group. I'm not saying he's way out front, but for me, I feel like Pharrell just wears the jacket. I don't know how you feel about it, but you know.
Definitely. He's one of the best, man. He's like the you know, everybody wants to be like him, you know? So that's all I gotta say.
What was
literally everyone?
Yeah, I was literally everyone. I know. Like, if he knows where the elixir is, he should let everybody, or at least a few people, know, right?
Yeah.
dipping in that fountain. He's like washing his face in that fountain of youth every morning. He's like, "Come on, bro, we're all out here aging. Help us all out, man."
It's insane.
What's one of your earliest memories of discovering his music, Aminé, and you realize like this is going to be a keeper for me in terms of someone that helps me put my puzzle together, puts my identity together? Pharrell's going to play a role in that as an artist.
You know, in my mind, of course, is like super, super influential for a lot of rappers and just producers, of course. But a lot of it for me, too, was just overall style and just how to just create your own identity. I think that's how I always saw Pharrell as a young... I didn't really notice that when I was younger until I got older, just to how much he just made a stamp on who he was as a person, visually, stylistically, musically, just like it all packaged so well together. And I was always so envious of that, just coming up as an artist. I just was like, man, I gotta figure out what my thing is.
I love it when he found balance, because I remember when I met him and NEID was really popping, and he was all over the Justin record, making Britney records, making big hits, right? Jay-Z. And I felt like he was just like a lot of artists who had that kind of success really quickly. He was sort of a bit out of his depth. Certainly in terms of when you talk to him as a press level, he'd be very quiet. He wouldn't give much away. He had his guard up, you know? And I really loved it when he found a way to kind of meditate through that, or found some balance. But basically when he realized it wasn't that important. There were much more important things. It kind of became sort of a different Pharrell, and the music changed and the whole outlook changed, became more outward going. Do you know what I mean? As a producer for you, because you're experiencing it from an artist point of view, vocally as well as a production, but you're listening to his beats too. I mean, what is it for you as a producer that you think ultimately sits through your music as a through line?
Man, it's really like the vibes that he brought like over the years, over my childhood to my teenage and to my adult. It's like he, it's like I said, everybody wants to be like him, and you know, I think like he's an inspiration in terms of like okay, like sounding yourself no matter what, and then even end up on the radio. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, I want to be the same in terms of like okay, like I got my sound, the KAYTRANADA sound as well. I hope it breaks through the radio as well. So it's kind of like the inspiration of like okay, I'm gonna keep my identity like Adam said. So Aminé. I just want to like, I just think like I want to do the same thing. So that's like kind of like my main goal.
Your journey as well, there's a lot of parallels, in terms of coming through and inspiring people, having success on your own terms and not necessarily fitting into going through the gates that the keepers keep. You found your own way to success and influence. Has been times when you felt challenged by that the way Kaytra was? Like, man, am I popping out here the way I feel I am? Like,
yeah, man. I doubt myself all the time. I don't really feel like I've been, fully accepted like that my whole career, and that's fine. You know what I mean? I feel like it just goes back to the last song on KAYTRAMINÉ, K&A. You can't be your true self while seeking validation. I just never really cared. There's a lot of gatekeepers in hip hop who really don't listen to KAYTRAMINÉ and take it as serious as they should. You know what I mean?
They should.
And that's okay. That's okay because the numbers will show. You know what I mean? We'll always prove what we got to prove.
And isn't there something isn't there a point in your life? Because okay, let me see if I can phrase this. Like the chase for the metric of success, right? Yeah. The construct of what success is, to me, is quite an adolescent fuel. It's the kind of thing that comes out of not quite being quite sure who your identity is. So this will help me find it. Doesn't it get to a point where you achieve enough, you reach a tipping point where you're like, I kind of know myself and the music knows itself, and being on the outside's kind of the point?
I guess, yeah. That's a good way to put it. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's like natural as a human being to be unsure of yourself. You know what I mean? And a lot of people that seem so sure of themselves, sometimes they force it.
Dude, I was unsure of that question. You know what I mean? Just for myself.
It's so tough. It's so tough to be so sure of yourself, especially after like COVID. So
facts.
Yeah.
Couple of questions. Who's Richie? Who do you call when you need assurance?
He's one of the members of Injury Reserve. Nathaniel Richie, one of the rappers.
Okay, cool.
I don't know if you're aware of them. They're really dope. They're out of Phoenix.
I'm aware of Injury Reserve, but I wasn't sure. Like, I don't know the names of everybody.
Oh yeah, Richie. Yeah, that's one of my best friends.
So okay, I love that line because what it shows. It's interesting, that song, because on the one hand you come through and you talk about letting go and recalibrating what value is, and then you take a minute and then you come back and you scorch earth everybody.
yeah.
So it's like the great contradiction of like, I think I've reached a higher state of consciousness. Actually, wait a second. Nah, stuff that. I'm gonna wreck everybody, right?
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Literally. I think that song was just so beautiful, and then he played me the last verses beat, and that was pretty last minute, and I was like, man, we gotta figure out a way to just I just wanted to keep rapping. That's the thing with him. I think I could make songs with Kay like all day long, but I could rap with Kay for like months. You know what I mean? Like we could crank out like 50 of these albums if we wanted, but
Haley Berry's one of his close personal friends.
Yeah, I heard that. I saw you Insecure. You got like movie star quality to you, so this might not be.
You hear what he just said? He's like, I reached out to. I hit Richie up. I hit Richie up when I need assurance, but I hit up Haley Berry just to be like, what's up?
Yeah. That's so funny, bro. That was a great connection.
Listen, we're having a good time with you guys hanging out here this morning live on radio, celebrating this brilliant album called KAYTRAMINÉ. Like you said, hard-earned. You make it sound easy. That's the problem. That's the problem for everybody else, because they don't really understand the graft and the effort that you put into making it sound as effortless as you do. Where do you go from here? I mean, we know where you're at on a live level because somehow you find a balance between recording, executing, and performing. And it's tough because you perform a lot. Aminé, you're always touring. I mean, I follow you on all socials and I see you out there rocking festivals all the time. So I kind of want to know like what the intention is about bringing this to life. If it's a true collaborative project, is it a true collaborative project?
It definitely is,
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll let Kay answer that one.
We definitely gonna make shows. We're definitely gonna have shows, I would say, later this year.
Mm-hmm.
But
Because why would you not?
Of course, like that's the thing. But we got into some, how can I say that? We had like confirmations before we thought about dropping the album. So that's where we have schedule conflicts. But we're definitely working on that, So
I see.
yeah, we definitely gonna bring it to life for sure.
Well, the music will inform you.
Yeah.
We always try to get ahead of the music, but the music...
It'll hold them. It'll hold them over.
Right, yeah, 100%,
Yeah.
And the music will always tell you, you're not ready, It's like a great lesson to learn when we all get excited about things, and it's like, you should finish me first.
I know.
I come first.
He just finished a crazy tour. I just finished a crazy world tour too, so it's a lot.
But it's going to be fun going out together because it's different when you go out on your own terms. Yeah, you've got your crew around you, but you're on stage alone. You got your crew around you, and you're not on stage alone, but you may as well be. Yeah. And so at the end of the day, to be able to go out there together, just on a fun level, just to make it fun, right?
I mean, we had the taste in Coachella too, so that was like,
facts.
That made me more like, want to do it. So
yeah.
Like I think a lot of people wanted to after the cello performance.
Well, that's what I mean. It's dangerous because we get attached to this.
Yeah, I know.
It's actually there's a medical term for it. It's called watch the throne complex.
Oh my Lord.
Oh my God.
It's true, man. I mean, how much do we still talk about that tour and that collaboration? And I know things have changed.
Yes.
I know dynamics and people have changed. Yeah. But at that time, and I would always say to people like who are great in collaborative moments, why don't you do something like you've done here? Why wouldn't you just? I understand it's easy to focus on your own journey and be.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
But the sum of all parts, the greater the collaboration, the greater the reward, right? Mm-hmm. On an experience level, like even when people say to me off the record, like, "Oh, but it's about the money," I'm like, "Yeah, but you're putting the money over the memory."
Yeah. It would be a time for sure.
I think y'all already know because y'all got this look on your face. Like, yeah, we got something,
Aminé thinks he's pulling a fast one. Aminé showed us his poker face last time. We don't forget that face, bro. Whatever, man. Whatever, bro. You guys are going to take us next door and be like, yo, we made another album with like, Rick Ross and blah, 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 blah. Like, whatever, man.
That's funny as hell.
No, we appreciate you guys coming in. Like, we know that it's not literally a hangover, but there's always some kind of hangover when you release an album, a sense of release and relief, an idea of like what comes next. You've been so wrapped up in it. So it's kind of coming in on a Monday after an album's just come out on a Friday. There's a lot to ask of people, but we love you too. We love you too individually and together.
Thank you for having us.
Really appreciate you coming and hanging out.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Good luck with the tour, man. Can't wait for you to announce.